Yeah, especially called by the winning team here.
Yeah.
The coach noticed something they were doing pretty wrong.
I think he must have. I don't think I've ever seen that before, actually. Coach calling A, a timeout early, but B, when his team is actually the one that's up.
I think I've seen it one other time. I'm not sure which team is playing, but it's definitely interesting because he can definitely make it work without doing that.
And fortunately, when I was down there, got a little lesson from referee Al Barrios, so we can bring a bit more information about those timeouts. Each coach does have 2 for every set. So coaches Joel Messer and Walter Scott not shy about using their first one. They still got one in the bank, though. As serve from Carter Scott will catch the net.
That talk didn't quite work out for them.
I guess not. No, always tough break. You want to be the first team scoring coming out of the timeout, especially if you're the one who calls it. But Warriors will just have to get one back the old-fashioned way. Sky, set by LaRiviere. Nice hit by McIntyre. Sky keeps it alive. Sends it to the front of the net. Falls just on his side.
Looks like they got that point back, though.
Yeah.
Not too much to worry about.
No. Warriors still maintaining their very slim lead here in the early going of the first set. Sean Flynn with the service, but he's whistled and checked that. That was Brady Scott, actually, number 13, not number 12.
Is that over the line?
I believe so, yeah. Yeah, I missed the call, but if the referee kind of points down towards the floor during the serve, that is the hand signal. LaRiviere sends it over on the third hit. Sequoia Sky from the back row, direct response. Volleyed around by the Warriors. LaRiviere is the one who sends it, though. Max Aubin over to number 7, Aiden Guerrier. Nice work by Guerrier. Sending that over, and we're all tied up. Strong service from Clark. Goes out of bounds, so Warriors regain the lead. McIntyre now looking back row. But that falls in. Nice work by Ethan McIntyre. Had a couple powerful hits earlier in this exchange.
Definitely a powerful player on the McAdam Warriors.
Yep, someone you want to watch out for, number 6 in purple. Ooh, nice work. Boyd LaRiviere is going to send that over. The behind-the-back special, one-handed, finds a soft spot in the Algonquins' defenses. That one's fielded high by the Algonquins. Gentry Taylor puts that up in the rafters, so McIntyre gets his 4th consecutive serve now. Nice little run for the Warriors. Here's Aubin. Over to Taylor, but the Warriors keep it alive. McIntyre to LaRiviere, number 8. Carter Bartlett. He finds the corner. So the Warriors are really on a run now. McIntyre looking for his 5th consecutive point. Saved by Sky. And looks like number 8, Lucas Kohler.
Lifted.
Yep.
I think that's all.
So McIntyre make that 6 consecutive points for number 6 in purple and gold.
Warriors on a little bit of a lead right now.
Yeah.
A little bit of a run, I guess, more so to say.
Yeah, they were all tied up kind of in the early going, but ever since McIntyre's taken over service duties, it's been pretty much all Warriors. And not sure exactly what the call was there.
I'm not sure either. I think he called a reserve, but the points definitely went up.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's no point being awarded, so I think you're right. It was a reserve. And it's the Warriors scoring again. Fielded, and nice work by Bartlett keeping it alive. LaRiviere sends it over. Way to make something out of nothing. And there's another lift. You don't see those too often at the senior ball level. McIntyre, nice serve. Sky, direct response goes out of bounds.
We're taking a big lead here.
Yeah.
10 points.
Yep. Fielded by Clark. Number 11, Aubin looking for it. Taylor's going to put it over. Nice work by the captain. Kept alive by McAdam, though, and this friendly crowd really likes it. And good work there from Aiden Guerrier. sends that over the net. And finally, the Warriors have stopped the onslaught. Service from Josh Sim will sneak over.
Algonquin's coming back here with 2 points in a row.
Yeah, that's right in there. Looking to fight into some of that massive deficit.
Getting some more.
That the Warriors got off the hands of Ethan McIntyre, but doing his job so far is Josh Sim. Third consecutive serve now. LaRiviere setting over, finds Bartlett looking corner, but Sim is there. Set up the middle from number 11, Obey. And I think that was Guerrier at the front of the net, sending it over. SGDA only dressing 7 players tonight, so shouldn't be too long before we learn all their names. LaRiviere sends that over. Sim passing over to Obey. Big hit from Taylor. And he finds a space in the back row. Brady Scott just can't get there in time.
It seems that the Warriors are really able to take advantage of the Algonquins when they're not quite, I guess, in control. Because we see the Algonquins being a lot better at positioning that ball here in this, I guess, second half of the first set. And they're automatically getting point after point after point.
Yep. Yeah. Doing some good work here is Josh Sim. Score is 14-10. And make that 14-11 now. As that ball goes up into the rafters. So great work here by Sim. Got the ball with a 9-point deficit. He's trimmed that to 6. So teams trading long service runs. Ooh, nice tricky work there. By number 11, here's LaRiviere. Sim taking over. Obey. Guerrier's going to go for some trickery, but Carter Bartlett is ready. Front of the net, LaRiviere and Obey in a battle. Nice dig by Taylor, keeping that alive. Great work by the Algonquins. Bartlett looking for the corner. Sim has it. This is a great rally from both sides. Looking for the hit over the defender is Guerrier. Obey. Taylor, and this time he just can't bump it up. And finally, McAdam will regain the ball here. Stopping this big run. Service from Carter Bartlett is going to catch the top of the net.
Warriors now only lead by 3 points.
Yeah. That was a much bigger lead before Josh Sim started serving, so
it's
great.
Definitely dangerous for the Warriors.
Big Rob jump serve there from number 7, Aiden Guerrier. He's going to keep the ball alive at the front of the net. Nice work by the Algonquins. And one of those campfire balls, as Mr. Fletcher would like to say. Ball come down, everyone kind of staring at it. No one makes a move. Here's Guerrier again. Carter Scott has, or sorry, check that. Brady Scott has it in the back row. Quite a few Scots wearing purple and gold tonight. LaRiviere with the set, and Carter Scott's going to send it over. Guerrier can't quite boost it in time. So the Warriors maintain their 3-point lead as we crest the halfway point of this first set between these two squads. Hit by Sequoia Sky. But that goes well out of bounds. Service from Alex Phillips catches the top of the net. So it will be the Algonquins taking over. Still a 3-point lead for the Warriors. Nice service by the captain there, Gentry Taylor. Scott looking for a big hit. That's kept alive by Sim. Obey at the front of the net. Can't quite save it, though. So McAdam takes over, and we're back around the service order. It is once again Boyd LaRiviere making that first serve, and smart call by the Algonquins. I don't know if I would have been able to make that call. That ball looked like it was maybe going to fall in. That one definitely went out. Service wide from Obey. And it's Carter Scott taking over. Good service by Scott. Taylor keeps it alive. Obey will send it to the front of the net. And Clark hits it over, but it's still alive. Nice work by the Algonquins. McIntyre. Algonquins celebrating a little early there. Get caught.
Yeah, as we see the Warriors having a bit of a comeback here. Another campfire ball.
Yeah, that's tough break. A very playable ball as Gentry Taylor put the ball up in quite a few jerseys in position for that second hit. Taylor, I think, has been one of their setters, although Obey also seems to be the setter, so not sure why he didn't go for it. And, ooh, tough break. Carter Scott a little frustrated with himself. He almost got the ball before it hit the ground, kind of hit it simultaneously there. Service by Sequoia Sky will catch the top of the net.
Now the Warriors are only 3 points away from winning here. Judging on their performance earlier in the set, they might be able to get these three.
Yeah.
But, commentator's curse, speak a little bit too soon.
Exactly. It always happens.
Getting their 17th point.
Brian Clark. That's fielded by the Warriors. Got a scramble, but Alex Phillips keeps it alive. Boyd Lariviere will send it over. Here's Olbank. Taylor looking for the hit.
Just chips it over.
Yeah, but still the blockers had a bit of trouble handling that, so nice work by the Algonquins, switching things up, catching their opponents by surprise. Solid service from Brian Clark. Here's Gary, who's going to put it up. Lariviere will send it over. And Josh Sim, tough luck there, is kind of instinctively just punched it over, but accidentally put it out of bounds.
Now, as Kevin would say, if the Warriors get this point, this will be their penultimate point.
He does like that word.
It's a good word.
It is, yeah. That is, yeah, well.
There we go, that penultimate point.
There it is, yep. And it is
set point here.
Ethan McIntyre had a nice 9-point run in the early going. Only needs one this time, and there it is.
Warriors winning set one.
Yep. Score is 25 for McAdam, 18 for Sir James Dunn Academy out of St. Andrews.
Now, if both of the teams' performance in this first set isn't at all indicative of how they'll play in the next set, I think we're due to have a very, very interesting game on our hands.
Yep. Some great rallies back and forth by both teams. Not quite as many big hits as we see sometimes with other teams, but some really good scrambles, right? Keeping some balls alive that you didn't think would stay there, but also a few mental errors by both sides. Some campfire balls on both sides of the net.
It's going to be a very interesting game.
Exactly. Keeps things kind of unpredictable.
But in this meantime, we would like to thank some of our corporate sponsors, Scott Pierce at East Coast Elite Realty, the Little Vacation Resort for Dogs, and RSEI Consultants Limited. These sponsors help us to improve things you guys see, cameras, audio, the viewing experience for you guys, and get more students involved, which is definitely nice in a small community like ours. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor, please check the video description on youtube.com/Harvey High Lakers. And you can get in contact with us there.
Yeah. Should also shout out some of the folks working tonight to make this game possible. Big thanks to referee Al Barrio, who's keeping an eye on things from his perch at the side of the net. We've also got Emma Gibson checking things off on the score sheet, and Violet McDonald flipping around those scorecards. Big thanks to the folks working the stream as well tonight. Kevin Sheffers-Roy is working downstairs, keeping track of the scoreboard. Lucas Aspilicueta is keeping us pointed in the right direction with that camera. And Tim Neidert is keeping an eye on the console, among other things, keeping busy.
And did we already thank the minor officials?
Yes. Emma Gibson and Violet McDonald. Actually, I was down there getting the roster, and Emma was kind of showing me how the score sheet worked, and it's a lot more complicated than I realized. Yeah. Big kudos to our minor officials. They're a huge part of every sports game, kind of the unsung heroes. But really, without their work, these games would not be possible. So a big thanks to those volunteers. They give up tons of their time every week. Lots of volleyball games here this week. We're just coming to the tail end of 4 streaming nights in 5 days. Been a busy one. Finally, I guess we should shout out the coaches. Joel Messer, assistant Walter Scott, and manager Gracie Blair Musgrave on the McAdam side, as well as coaches Anthony Pelton and Kathleen Clark for the Algonquins. And it's their squad serving first. There's Taylor. LaRiviere with the set. McIntyre looking for the big hit to start things off. Nice work by the Algonquins, keeping it alive, and oh bang! Third hit, tried to go for the behind the back set over the net, but unfortunately just had the angle a little bit wrong, so it's the Warriors who draw first blood.
Now, I believe that's the second time the Algonquins received a crazy ball like that.
Yeah.
They seem to be very good at getting back in control. Unfortunately, he didn't get over, but being able to get it from all the way back there on the court to the sun was so pretty impressive.
I think that was Josh Sim who sprinted, yeah, you're right, almost entirely into the back corner and still sent a playable ball over to his teammates. Big hit from Sky, and that's just out of bounds as well. Tough break for the Algonquins, specifically Sky here. He's had a lot of these big hits that just go out of bounds. Clark will send it over. Here's LaRiviere, and it's Jacob McIntyre sending that one over. Aubin with the set. Sky winding up. This time he pulls his punch a little bit. LaRiviere has it. McIntyre, and sorry, check that. We should be specific. Ethan McIntyre this time is going to send that over. High fives with Jacob on the court. And service from Cole Nason. It's going to fall a little short.
That point might have been the shortest point we had. The serve there. All of these points have been very long.
They have, yeah. Solid services from both teams. LaRiviere will send that up. Jacob McIntyre puts it up. Good block at the front of the net by Brian Clark. Dig from Ethan McIntyre wasn't quite enough to keep that ball alive. So here's the Algonquins with the chance to tie things up early. Max Aubin will send that out of bounds as his teammates kind of encourage him to shake it off. Happens to the best of us. Jacob McIntyre, and again, yep, teams trading services out of bounds, so no harm, no foul for either player when you can trade them back and forth like that. Sequoia Sky, he's had some power, and this one falls a little too soon. Shaking his head a little bit off his game. You can tell he's certainly one of the Algonquins' go-to power hitters. Big jump serve from McIntyre. That's Ethan McIntyre, rather. Chris Scott with the one-handed touch, but no Warrior can get there quite in time. And it will be Brian Clark to serve now. Fielded by McIntyre. LaRiviere puts it up. And there's Sean Flynn who's going to send that over. Josh Sim has it, though. Aubin. Flynn with the one-handed response. Ethan McIntyre, and just can't quite get out of the way of the backing up Jacob, or sorry, check that, Ethan McIntyre backing up Jacob, trying to get around him for the touch. Nothing going, and we're all tied up here. Nice work by Mason, keeping it alive. LaRiviere's going to send it to the back corner. Clark is there. Aubin with the set. Guerrier looking back row, but a nice dig by Ethan McIntyre, keeping that one in play. There's Sky, and I think that was the fourth hit from Aubin. That is correct. Kind of just instinctively sent it over.
We're going to score to 6-5 for the Warriors.
Yeah. Here's Sean Flynn. Just going to send that just out of bounds. Tough break for Flynn. They don't give points for it, but Flynn definitely the best beard out there on the court. As the Algonquins are going to use their entire roster tonight. Lucas Kohler is checked into the game in place of number 5, Brian Clark. That ball goes up and over. And the Algonquins have taken the lead now. Very slim, but a lead nevertheless. That one sent over. Ethan McIntyre has it. Chris Scott will send it over. And another one of those campfire balls. Taylor and Aubin, neither one really sure who was going for it, and couldn't move till a split second too late. Warriors capitalize. Here's Chris Scott sending it. Good hit by Kohler. Nice first touch. Taylor will send it over on the third hit. Here's LaRiviere with the set. And Jacob McIntyre elects to send it, and Nice trickery by Max Garrier at the front of the net. This time he changes it up. Sends it far now, and Chris Scott just can't get there in time.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of plays like this, especially in the second game. Not so much in the first, where sometimes the players are just not able to get to the ball. And it's been happening a lot more so on the Warrior side, which might be a strength for the Algonquins.
Yeah,
they seem to have very fast players.
They do, and if they can capitalize on this, they'll be okay. And we have a substitution here. Brady Scott will check into the game. And Boyd LaRiviere will take a break. I didn't catch that first game, but I imagine LaRiviere, one of the senior players on this McAdam squad, would have played a lot of minutes. So nice to see coaches Messer and Scott giving him the swap. Right now, Algonquins lead by 2. They have 9 points. McAdam with 7. And it's the Algonquins scoring again. They're up to 10 now. As it will be number 7, Aiden Garrier with the serve. Fielded by Jacob McIntyre. Nason mistiming that punch over. As we get the scoreboard there. Algonquins with 11 now. Big lob serve by Garrier. Sends it high. Sean Flynn with the pass. And number 13, Brady Scott, will send that one over. Still alive. As we get a couple quick responses, here's McIntyre calming things down. Jacob looking second level. Lucas Kohler has that, but oh bang. Can't quite get there. A little too close to the referee's chair. And the Warriors finally get the ball back. That was a nice little run by number 7, Aiden Garrier. At least 3 points there. Service from Brady Scott goes into the net. Algonquins get the ball right back. And another substitution there. As Gentry Taylor a little quick on the trigger before every player had gotten subbed in. Lucas Kohler's going to check out, and Brian Clark, who has a bit of a height advantage, is going to check in at the front of the net there. McIntyre looking corner. Nice work by Ethan McIntyre. He's picked that spot a few times. And it will be number 8, Carter Bartlett, checking back into the game. Sean Flynn is going to take a break. Cole Mason sends the ball over. Nice serve. That's an ace. Smith played by the Algonquins. Nice work by Mason, looking to get his team back into this thing. They trail by 2, and it'll be 3 now as that ball rolls out of bounds. So 13-10 in favor of the Algonquins. Still a good back and forth affair again, and if you're just tuning in, we'll remind you McAdam won the first set by a score of 25-18, but it was a pretty tight set, I would say, even though the final score does favor the Warriors.
Definitely. We expected the second set to be pretty tough for both teams, and it seems to kind of be that way. Warriors were trailing a little bit, but now they're catching up here.
Yep, still very close. Here's McIntyre to Scott, back to McIntyre, this time a little too much mustard as that finds the back corner of the gym, not the corner of the red lines that he was aiming for. The Algonquins take over. It's number 13, Sequoia Sky. Nice service, fielded by Jacob McIntyre. Brady Scott has it. Ethan McIntyre sends it over. Garrier to McIntyre, almost froze up. I don't think the team was ready for that. Cole Mason not quite ready, as we see a couple more substitutions. Coaches Joel Messer and Walter Scott.
These last 2 plays have allowed the Algonquins to raise their lead to 4 points, which is pretty significant, especially with these 2 teams.
Yep, exactly. And this being a league game, of course, McAdam already up 1-0, so it's not the end of the world if they lose this one, but of course, you always want to get that comfortable 2-0 lead, secure the win. Giving it to the Algonquins here would mean a very crucial third set. McAdam looking to avoid it. St. Andrews looking to force it. And right now it is the Algonquins with the upper hand. 6-point lead. Sequoia Sky again, his 3rd consecutive serve. And that'll be 4.
Algonquin's leading by 7 now.
Yeah.
It's looking pretty good for them, knock on wood. Commentators' curse can't be having that.
Yeah. We'll see if McAdam coaches are going to use a timeout anytime soon. They do have 2 that they can use. Now, I should say most coaches don't use 2 in every set. Some of them don't even use, they probably average less than 1, to be honest. But,
yeah, not many timeouts get called. Some teams call timeouts, like earlier in this game we saw the Warriors call timeouts.
Yeah, that's
super early.
very early timeout, which was interesting. Although they did win the set, so I guess you can't really fault them.
I'm surprised they didn't do the same strategy here.
Yeah. Cole Mason, second, keeping it alive, and almost sent over by Carter Bartlett. Can't quite get there, and now Algonquin's really opening things up. Commanding lead. Sequoia Sky sends it over. Jacob McIntyre, Cole Mason with the one-handed hit, and Brady Scott's going to send it back row. Sky, bang, one-handed set, and a couple of guys get tangled up there.
Warriors finally able to get a point here.
Yeah.
Algonquins were on a bit of a lead.
And to be honest, it was a little bit of a gift because that point really came because of some misplays by the Algonquins. Nice work there, though, as they make up for it. Sequoia Sky from almost the back corner of the gym manages to send it over.
And that's not the first time we saw that from the Algonquins this game.
Yeah, great work on those scrambles. Another point for Sky on the service. Front of the net. Battle between Brian Clark and Brady Scott, and it's Clark of the Algonquins coming out ahead. So Sky, great little run here just when he needed it. Solid service. Fielded by Carter Scott. And that falls at the front of the net. Brady Scott unable to field that.
I believe a lift was called on that one.
Oh, you might have been right, actually. I missed that, but often in the front of the net, when you kind of panic, you're not really set.
Yeah, I think a lot of things happened there. I think he touched the net and it lifted and the ball also hit the ground.
Yeah.
But just whatever happened first, right?
Exactly. Yeah, either way, the end result is still the same.
Ooh.
And, have a,
perhaps rotation was off?
I think so. I heard someone call something out. And I didn't see who called it, but I think the ref was looking at some things. As we see and the referee, Al Barrio, is getting out his lineup card.
So yeah, that's going to bring the Algonquins back down to 21 points. And the Warriors to 13.
Yep, so big break for the Warriors. Kind of biting into Sequoia Sky's massive service run. That comes right when they need it. Here's the hit from Carter Bartlett. Bang keeps it alive. Josh Sims going to send that one over. And yeah, not exactly a campfire ball, but Warriors kind of staring that down. There were a couple players there, and I think both teams could work on a bit of communication here.
Yeah, I think in a lot of these games, when balls are coming down, you're kind of in a state of, what do I do? Especially if there's a lot of people around you.
Yep, and there, of course, there's some players playing on the court right now, a mix of starters and bench players.
And if you don't have very clear and specific roles for each player, things can get really tough.
Exactly.
If players have to decide on the court if they have to get that ball or if someone else does, it can get pretty confusing.
Yeah, that's where that communication comes in. Very key. 24-13 now. It is set point, and there will not be a timeout called. Josh Sim will send that over. Sim with a massive run in the first set. Cole Mason sends it, though. Nice work by the Warriors, and tough break. There was a net touch there. And so it is SJDA getting right back into this game with a commanding victory here, 25-13. Great work by the Algonquins.
Very different from the first set. In the first set, SJDA trailed by 7 points for the victory, which should 25-18. But in this one, they were ahead by a lot more. They were ahead by 12 points.
Yeah, and to be honest, it might have been even more if the Algonquins hadn't been called on that rotation error. because they were really buzzing. We've seen that a couple times on both sides. In the first set, it was Ethan McIntyre of the Warriors, Josh Sim of the Algonquins, both going on long runs. This time it was Sequoia Sky for the Algonquins, so we'll have to watch out for that, especially in this third set that only goes to 15. If you get even a service run of 5 or 6, that's a massive part of that third set, and you can really do some damage.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see the third set go.
Yeah.
15 points is not many, and it's going to be a lot more stressful than the first 2 sets were.
I think so. We'll see those desperation plays. McAdam, of course, is done after tonight. They're going to leave it all out there on the court. The Algonquins in a bit of a tricky spot, though, because they have to play Harvey right after this, and with only 7 players dressed tonight, that could lead to some load management, I guess we could say, by the coaches.
I did not even realize how small their roster was tonight.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
I think this is the smallest visiting team roster that we've seen.
It's incredible that they're able to perform the way they do with only 7 players. I'd imagine everybody gets pretty tired.
But one of the ways it does help, it does build chemistry, although we have seen a couple of campfire balls there and some miscommunications. It happens from time to time, but one of the things that helps mitigate that is your chemistry. And before things get started, we should take a moment to shout out our corporate sponsors. Big thanks to Scott Pierce at Remax East Coast Elite Realty, the Little Village Vacation Resort for Dogs, and RSEI Consultants Limited. Our sponsors help us to improve the viewing experience and get more students involved in these streams. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor, please check the video description for our contact information.
Coming on in the third set here. Right after that great message delivered by Mr. David White here.
Yeah, big thanks to you as well, Ashton. Doing the color commentary here on the mic. Should thank Lucas Athlequeta as well, pointing us in the right direction. Kevin Shepard-Roy keeping us up to date on that scoreboard. And Tim Neidert making sure there's no discord between any of us here on set, keeping the peace. Boyd LaRiviere sending it over. Carter Scott will send it for the Warriors. Sim looking for someone in the setter's position, but no one was there.
It's going to be a strong morale boost for the Warriors here in the second set. The Algonquins not able to return a not very hard ball.
Yeah, that was a playable ball, so maybe there's a bit of discord in their ranks.
Definitely.
Here's Sim on the second hit, and front of the net. Obey has the angle wrong, so Lakers get this first, and Algonquins might be getting a little frustrated. You see Captain Gentry Taylor there trying to keep the troops calm. Here's Obey. Big hit by Sequoia Sky, looking back low, but Carter Scott is there. LaRiviere with the set, and Brady Scott will send it over. Here's Guerrier. Sim with a nice little tip over, but LaRiviere keeps it alive. Set by Scott. McIntyre, the big hitter, looking corner, but Taylor keeps it in.
Algonquin's able to take that point back, but does not reduce from the fact that the Warriors are already up by 1 point.
Yep. And in this 15-point set, every point is crucial. Old Bang's serve is good, as Carter Scott diving for that one, sends it out of bounds.
Game's all tied up now.
Yep. Here's Old Bang again. And might be guilty of a double touch. Oh, no, a lift there, rather. Ball was spinning in an awkward way. I think referee Barrio's going to call that one every time. Scott with the nice first pass. LaRiviere looking for some trickery, but this time misjudged things. Undershot just a touch. And just like that, it's now the Algonquins who lead by 2. Scott, LaRiviere sends it. Not quite. It didn't crest the net, but it doesn't matter because there is a lift called by referee Barrio. Here's Obey. Brady Scott has it at the front of the net. Ethan McIntyre. And guilty of a net touch, so bit of a sloppy set here from both sides.
Good lead here from the Warriors. 2 points ahead. A third of the way to their 15 points.
Taylor. Sequoia Sky on the third hit. LaRiviere's there in the corner. There's Phillips, and that's sent over by Captain Ethan McIntyre of the Warriors. Pulls his team to within 1. All right. A little too high there from Brian Clark. And now we're all tied up. Here's Brady Scott of the Warriors trying to keep him ahead now, but accidentally steps over the line. Tough break for Brady Scott. And here's Sequoia Sky. Went on quite a nice run in the second set. He'd love to replicate that. Ethan McIntyre sends it over. Direct response from Clark. Carter Scott sends it. Again, direct response this time, Garrier. La Riviere is going to tip that over. Nice work by Josh Sim, keeping it alive. But that's falls on his side still. So again, all tied up. Great third and deciding set so far.
Yeah, it's been pretty much as close as the first set was there.
Yep.
Well, yeah, I believe so. I'm getting this game and the Harley game mixed up a little bit.
Yeah, but some good close games all around. Apart from that second set where SJDA just kind of took the ball and rolled with it for quite some time in the middle of the set. There've been pretty close matchups. Nice hit by Sim there. Haven't seen too many of those from him this afternoon, or evening rather, but he gets a nice one. Clark looking back row. Carter Scott is there. La Riviere's going to put that up behind him for number 8, Carter Bartlett. Great placement by the Warriors, and now with 8 points, I believe we will see... Oh, no, we might not see a switch here. Now, traditionally, teams would switch, but I think if captains agree, you don't have to switch sides. Really, it doesn't make a huge difference, the sides of the gym. Ooh, this time the trickery works. La Riviere sends that over. Clark with the block, but La Riviere keeps it alive. Great net front play from both teams. And it's Sim finally forcing that one over. Rides the top of the net for a split second and then rolls down. And Sim has the ball again. His team down by 1. Went on a big 6-point run in the first set, so very capable of running a through off. Nice work by Carter Bartlett on that hit. Bartlett again in the front of the net, gets it by Taylor, but Garrier's there. Taylor with the set. Sim misfires that a bit, just a little too far away. Angles that into his own player.
Still keeping the lead at 2 points, though, for the Warriors.
Yeah, teams have been pretty tight all the way through. Good third hit by Garrier. Carter Scott to Bartlett. And Carter Scott sends it over. Here's Brady Scott. Carter Scott looking back row. Sim is there. Garrier sends it. Bartlett to La Riviere. Carter Scott winding up for a big hit. There you go. Fired up on the court.
Great hit, leading the Warriors to 2/3 of the way to their 15 points here.
They're closing in on it, and that was just a textbook play, right? Your pass, set, hit. Excellent work.
I thought the teams switched at 8 points.
They should, but I'm guessing the captains, if they both agree, can kind of overrule it. To be honest, I don't really think it matters. It's a hassle to move all your stuff. Like,
that's fair.
Yep, I get it. Here's Obang to Taylor, who sends it direct. La Riviere with the set. Carter Scott again with the gentle hit. Sim is there this time. Clark, Garrier winding up. Sends it back row, but Brady Scott is there. Phillips to La Riviere in the front of the net. And it is the Algonquins who get the ball. Coaches Anthony Pelton and Kathleen Clark kind of debating the use of a timeout. They opt to hold on to it for now. Clark sending it over nicely. La Riviere and Alex Phillips opts for the volley over. Clark with a diving play keeps it alive. And the front of the net, Garrier just can't quite get there.
Warriors at a 4-point lead, 12-8 against the Algonquins. This is going to be very dangerous for the Algonquins here.
Yep.
As Warriors are only 3 points away.
Alex Phillips with a nice serve, sends that one over. Obang with the set. Taylor finds the middle of the court there. La Riviere in motion. Carter Scott sends it over. Clark has it. Sky sends that up and high. Garrier, bad angle there. And this time we will have a timeout.
That point was definitely deserved for the Warriors. There was a lot of hustle there.
Yep. Some great work by their teams. And little misplay there. Sequoia Sky and Josh Sim both going for that ball. Sky ultimately did pass it, but I think that kind of caused a bit of the confusion and ultimately led to the misplay by the Warriors.
Algonquins now at a 5-point lead.
Yeah, or Warriors with the lead.
Sorry,
right? Yeah, Warriors with the
5-point
lead. Yeah.
2 points away from their 15 points they need to win, and it's going to be a tough third set here. It's very interesting.
Yep, Warriors with the ball too, and as we've seen, they've had a few players who can kind of knock a few off consecutively when it comes to setting.
Now, with these third,
Their
fifth, and
serves.
point sets, do they still have to win by 2?
They do still have to win by 2. So if the Algonquins rather are able to kind of claw their way back into this thing, we might end up with kind of a 14-14 game. At which point, yes, they would continue playing until one team has won by 2 points. So,
All right.
yeah, game in theory will go to 15. In practice, we'll see how things go.
Yeah. Unexpected things can happen all the time.
Yep.
I definitely didn't have many expectations for this game. I thought it was going to be very even. I didn't know who was going to win.
Yes.
I had expectations that it was going to be a good game, but aside from that.
I see some good plays so far. Is tough break. And the Algonquins have to like that as they're able to successfully kind of ice Phillips, the server.
Got a little scared there. I thought another timeout was being called.
No, just a substitution. Lucas Kohler in the back row. Coach is kind of using him as almost a libero. Just moving in the back row, and then when his rotation comes back up to the front, Brian Clark, rather, is going to check back in. Another mental error as Brady Scott touches the net.
Algonquins honestly might make a comeback here.
Yeah.
These 2 points right off the bat have been pretty strong.
Guerrier is going to send that over. La Riviere with the set. And nice work. Oh! Over the net. Tough break is Sequoia Sky.
It's going to be set point and match point, actually.
Yep, match point as Warriors up by 4. And what a way to end it. Boyd La Riviere with the ace.
Winning the game 2-1 for the Warriors.
Yep.
It's a tough fought game and definitely a very interesting one.
Yep. Went back and forth. The first set won by the Warriors by 7. Second set, it was the Algonquins taking control, 25-13. And here in the third set, finally, it is McAdam 15, Sir James Dunn Academy 10.
Well fought game from both teams.
And as the Lakers get ready to take the court to play the Algonquins, we'll shout some folks out one last time. Big thanks to our corporate sponsors, Scott Pierce at Remax East Coast Elite Realty, the Little Village Vacation Resort for Dogs, and RSEI Consultants Limited. Our sponsors help us to improve the viewing experience and get more students involved in these streams. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor, please check the video description for our contact information. Should also thank the folks working behind the scenes to make the stream possible. Your minor officials for the night were Emma Gibson on the score sheet and Violet McDonald at the scoreboard. Al Barrio was the referee. Coaches were Joel Messer and Walter Scott on the Warriors side, aided by manager Gracie Blair Musgrave. And for the Warriors, it was Anthony Pelton and Kathleen Clark who brought the boys down from St. Andrews. Big thanks to Lucas Azpilicueta, who was working our camera up here in the skybox. Kevin Sheffers-Roy, who was down there in the stands, keeping track of things on our scoreboard, and Tim Nider working the console. Big thanks to you as well, Ashton.
And thank you to you, Mr. White. We'll see you back here in a few minutes for Harvey High School against the Sir James Dunn Academy Algonquins. I'm excited to see how this game's going to go. Tight game between the Warriors. The Warriors beat Harvey in the first game, so we're going to see how it goes.
Should be a good match.